everybody. Patrick Verno here. Welcome to another episode of the LinkedIn Live uh, podcast. What do we want to call it? A couple weeks ago, and it's based on looking at as to take a little different spin on this and really look from the standpoint of as a manager, as a leader, there are times where we often create the difficult employee or the poor can happen. And I want to talk about a study that was published in Harvard Business Review called the setup to fail syndrome. Then I want to talk about a model called SCARF that I think plays into this. And lastly, what are the behaviors that we can do to change this? And the setup to fail syndrome is really very interesting because it deals with an employee and a manager. And there's a triggering event here. It could be the employee messes up on an expense report or doesn't finish a project on time. Some triggering event here that causes the manager to maybe look a little more closely at its individual's performance. And this feels like they're being watched. And anybody that has been in a situation where they feel like somebody's over their shoulder watching what they're doing, it's not a comfortable feeling, right? We generally don't do well with this. So the only way around this is to recognize that it happens. And with triggering event, what can happen is the individual. It was a one-off. It was a mistake. But if I'm followed more on this, then what I might start doing is, my manager starts asking me more questions about what I'm doing, looking at my work, maybe more critical on certain things. That when there are problems that come up, maybe let the boss know about maybe another mistake that I made and find out about it. And what that does, it creates this even more intense overlook by the manager. And when that happens, emotionally, as an employee, I start to withdraw, right? I'm not really following what's going on. And when that happens, the manager then looked at me even more closely. It gets worse. It all started out from this place of, it was a one-off, maybe a mistake that was made, and this ball is in motion. It's called the setup fail syndrome. I think it's very relevant. I will tell you personally, I've been on both sides of this. Somebody that I know I've probably created that in somebody else. And I think it's important for us just to be aware that can happen and that we do that. And the negative impact of that. I do think it's incredibly important right now. A lot of the work that I'm doing, especially with leaders, when I hear of, employees or issues that are, I really think of I about it, satisfying something, belongingness, and this whole so and ultimately to their so vital. Speaking, I'm trying to put more. Listen, others, how the problem of what I want to be treated. Right, when we listen from that perspective, we really are listening from a standpoint of curiosity, not to respond anymore. We're listening from curiosity. Next behavior that we talk about is around empathy, and empathy stands on its own in regards to a leadership behavior that we all need. And when we think about empathy, putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes, our model, right? We think about status, how I want to be treated. From a standpoint of respect, is how I'm treating them. Is that how I'd want to be treated? Would I feel respected? Have I been fair with them? Right. Again, from an empathic standpoint, have I created a sense of relatedness? If we talk about it from SCARF, all of those things come into play. And lastly, we talk about specifics, and that's around clear expectations. You just said clear expectations, and oftentimes I will tell you when I hear individuals or we talk about the problem employee, this is really where I think most of the issues come to play, is that we haven't set really clear expectations, or if we've had clear expectations, we haven't followed through. We haven't adhered to them. Where we could have coached somebody earlier when we see them not performing in the way that should be in their roles. We're doing different things that maybe somebody says, I don't want to deal with that right now. I'll talk to him if it rarely does that happen. So it's so important for us to set clear expectations, but then make sure that we're staying. The management leadership role for us is that we need to be creating that environment. It falls back to SCARF again, is that from a standpoint, when we talk about specifics or clear expectations, certainty, right, is certainly important. That do I know what's expected of me? Do I know how I'm going to be evaluated on this? Which then goes all the way back to when we're dealing with this setup fail syndrome, or how to avoid the setup to fail syndrome. How do we do that? It's through these building a bridge. That's all we do with those people around us. The more we behave in ways that are positive, that are proactive, we're creating a bridge with them. So I hope you found this helpful. There's a lot of information here. It's Dr. David Rock is the one that has sort of created this model. He's got a lot of great research on there that is worthwhile for you to take a look at. On top of that, I hope you're able to look at the CABLES model again and find a better job of, and use that with the problem employee and see how that helps. The next episode, I'm going to develop this one. We're going to talk about if you are the problem employee, if you're that difficult employer, you've